demon extermination seal, divine finger sword. After a while, Dianken had already been knocked down by Hanju's punch, buried under a pit of earth and rocks. The system also issued a prompt, stating that the 34th session of the simulation training room had ended. He looked up darkly. Next, I need to see what this demon king is doing here. Outside the cave, Li Qingshi was sweating nervously, thinking to himself, Elder Han has been in the Jianghu emergency rescue for many years, hasn't Yuking sect been unlucky enough? He cried angrily, forget about the 13 sects last time, but the one Yang Tiandong brought back is even more dangerous. If it weren't for you being Elder Han's disciple, I would have struck you dead with a palm by now. Suddenly, Hanju walked to the rock wall and shouted downward, I wonder what Demon King Dianken has to teach us at Yuking sect? He immediately called out, its master. He coldly crossed his arms and looked down with disdain. Li Qingshi couldn't help but mutter, Elder Han truly has great abilities. He actually guessed that Demon King Dianken would come to Yuking sect. Dianken's body suddenly tensed, sweat pouring down. Is this an illusion? The demon race is naturally sensitive to combat energy, he clearly just fought, and even has the scent of blood on him. How can there be so many beings at the integration stage in Dian? Thinking of this, he again saw Hanju's cold gaze. His sword intent really makes me feel dangerous. After a while, Dianken, drenched in sweat, awkwardly smiled. I heard about Elder Han's beauty and have always wanted to drink a cup of wine with you. Before he could finish his sentence, Hanju darkly threatened him. Dianken nervously changed his words, I want to be brothers with Li Changjiao, make friends with Elder Han, and hope that Elder Han will make it happen. Yang Tiandong stood behind, secretly raising a card to explain. Demon King Dianken thought that the immortals were cursing him, so he wants to befriend Yuking sect to show his sincerity to the immortals. This time, Hanju was stunned. A second later, he immediately flipped his expression, smiling, I curse people, and now I'm being suspected of being the actions of immortals? So, Dianken hurriedly thanked Hanju and quickly pushed Li Qingshi away. He smiled casually, this is fine too, having one more ally is better than one more enemy. After 10,000 years, the Demon King of Dian communicated with the human race for the first time through intellectual exchange. Li Changjiao proposed a joint strategy of maintaining differences, to establish a trade foundation using the 9-word true formula to guarantee mutual benefits, firmly promoting it from the masses to the masses, striving for a win-win outcome. Demon King Dianken appreciated this point, stating that the unity of the human race was worth learning, and that the demon race would push for deeper commercial cooperation by utilizing advantages and avoiding weaknesses. Dian and the cultivation world were shocked by this, and the status of Yuking sect reached an unprecedented peak. The historical significance of this alliance was in proving that different races could live in harmony, leaving a profound impact on future generations. Hanju lazily sighed while lying down. Demon King Dianken is done for, Xiaoyu is dead, no daily tasks, still need to cultivate to avoid boredom. Suddenly, the system popped up again. After reading it, he furrowed his brow and asked in confusion, who is this? The notification read that the Elder of Enlightenment had a 4-star feud with Hanju. He happily shouted, this one has come to you. In the ancient secret realm, Xing Hongchuan was now forced into a dead end. She fearfully asked the person in front of her, what do you want? Elder of Enlightenment stared at Xing Hongchuan, his eyes filled with killing intent. I didn't expect this young girl to be able to practice the divine art on this wall. I've studied it for so long and still haven't figured it out. She had no choice but to lower her head to him. This art has no master, only those with destiny can comprehend it. I haven't damaged the scriptures, and you can continue to study them, senior. He still wouldn't let go of Xing Hongchuan. This divine art was left by our sect's ancestors. You, young girl, are fated with my sect. Come with me to the impermanent sect. Xing Hongchuan could only make an excuse. I already have a master, and my Tao companion is nearby. This secret realm is connected to many places. If I don't return soon, he will come looking for me. The Elder of Enlightenment was unwilling to relent, even calculating something. You have a master? Dao companion? At this moment, he realized he had been tricked. You want to threaten me? Stop lying. You and I have no destiny in this life. The Elder of Enlightenment stopped being lenient and decided to capture her. This young girl has mastered the divine art. It would be perfect to bring her back as my disciple's furnace companion. Xing Hongchuan didn't surrender easily. She suddenly swung her blade to block his path. She pressed the blade to her neck and threatened, if you continue to force me, I'll only repay you with death. She advised, you should take back what you just said about no destiny. The Elder of Enlightenment immediately cast a move. Since you won't listen, don't blame me for being rude. His moves were fast and lethal. In an instant, he trapped Xing Hongchuan. Vines tied her up, and Xing Hongchuan found it hard to breathe and couldn't struggle. The Elder of Enlightenment angrily warned, I've always been precise. When I say there's no destiny, there really is none. At that moment, a small insect arrived with news. Sect leader, bad news, Dong Fangxian has lost control, her life is in danger. Please hurry back. The Elder of Enlightenment was extremely furious. Of all times, this woman is useless right now, taking her back is too rushed. Seeing that Xing Hongchuan couldn't resist, he had already plotted his scheme. The situation with Dong Fangxian is unclear. Let this woman cultivate for a while longer, it will be more interesting to enjoy her later. Before leaving, the Elder of Enlightenment didn't forget to warn Xing Hongchuan. I've marked you. Don't think of escaping. If you agree to join Impermanence Sect, I will forgive your earlier offense and give you 10 years to consider. Xing Hongchuan, having escaped the danger, fell to her knees in fear and relaxed her body. Everything was recorded by the doll, and naturally, this information would be passed on to the person who created it. At this moment, Hanju saw everything that happened to Xing Hongchuan through the doll. The system displayed information about the Elder of Enlightenment, 7th layer of integration, sect leader. Of Impermanence Sect, highly respected. Because you are the husband of the person he favors, he holds a grudge against your disciple. If Xing Hongchuan refuses him, he will act against you to prevent future problems. Hanju deeply remembered these 5 words, sect leader of Impermanence Sect. At this moment, thunder rumbled, and Zun Chang'an and the black-eyed chicken began a heated discussion. It looked up at the sky and noticed the heavenly thunder. Master is about to break through. Hanju endured the thunder tribulation and broke through without getting angry. The Elder of Enlightenment dares to touch my people. Is he seeking death? On his small notebook, in big letters, it read Elder of Enlightenment. Hanju read it word by word. Today, with the power of the thunder tribulation, I will curse the Elder of Enlightenment, 4 days and 4 nights. The thunder tribulation struck hard, releasing a tremendous force and dazzling light. From a distance, it was shocking because of the power of the thunder tribulation. People in the sect were thrilled. The god-slaying elder has broken through again. The true immortals, such as Jing Si, revered Hanju. The thunder tribulation was already far enough, yet its power still reached here. What level is he at? With the god-slaying elder, Yuking sect had flourished. The most important thing was that the elder had never abused his power and focused on cultivation, earning admiration. Li Changzi only said one sentence, you only need to know that you can always trust the strength of the god-slaying elder. The others unanimously agreed, that's right, the god-slaying elder will always be a god. Guan Wu sighed anxiously, I've been cultivating according to the god-slaying elder's method, but why is the gap growing bigger? He thought regretfully, is it because of talent differences? Maybe one day he can ascend and become an immortal. Elsewhere, a large pit was created by the thunder tribulation. Zhou Fan sighed, damn thunder tribulation, finally over. He crawled on the ground. The power of the heavenly thunder is still hard to resist. With my body, I barely withstood one bolt of it. At this moment, a person stood in front of Zhou Fan and asked, how does it feel to be alive again? Mo Fuqiang angrily said, to resurrect your body, I spent quite a few treasures. Let's see if you dare to do this again next time. Zhou Fan bowed to the senior behind Mo Fuqiang, thank you, senior, for my rebirth. I am willing to share the burden and help the senior. Xian Shishir dismissed it as a small matter and casually said, "You saved me before, today was just repaying the favor." Zhou Fan and Mo Fuqiang exchanged puzzled glances, hearing about their vague memories from their past lives. She nonchalantly said, "It's still thanks to your past life's merits and good fortune. I was just going with the flow." After finishing, she waved and walked away. This matter ends here. I'm leaving now. Zhou Fan and Mo Fuqiang still wanted to know Xian Shishir's Dao name. She only said one word, Xian. Then she disappeared into the air, leaving enough mystery for those left behind. Zhou Fan asked in confusion, "Is there a big shot in the cultivation world with the surname Xian?" Mo Fuqiang helplessly replied, "You ask me, I don't know either." Zhou Fan proudly boasted, "Now I'm at the 6th level of the nascent soul realm. No one can be faster than me." Mo Fuqiang sneered, "Stop changing the subject. I spent so many treasures, how are you going to compensate?" On Han Ju's side, his system updated with a series of messages showing that his good friend Zhou Fan was attacked and killed. But after being reborn, his cultivation increased greatly, his good friend got a great opportunity. His Dao progress advanced, and his divine pet was seriously injured but escaped danger. Upon seeing this series of messages, Han Ju only noticed that Zhou Fan had died and come back to life, truly the protagonist. The system reminded you again, informing you that you have successfully broken through to the integration stage. And you can choose from the following options. 1 is to immediately emerge from seclusion, showcase your strength to the world, obtain a spiritual treasure, and receive a divine power inheritance. The other is to continue humbly cultivating in seclusion, aiming to become the strongest in the world and obtain a genius treasure. Han Ju chose to continue cultivating in seclusion, distancing himself from the mortal world and obtaining a genius treasure. The system, congratulations, you have obtained the Earth Immortal Gourd Seed. Han Ju helplessly read the description of the item. It blooms in 1,000 years, bears fruit in 10,000 years, can be eaten or refined into a magic treasure, and with enough time, can form a magic treasure that gives birth to spiritual beings. 7 rainbow-colored gourds appeared in his mind. Bringing the 7 gourd babies out of the mountain seems like it wouldn't be impossible. His system information appeared, human phase, transcendent qualifications, 6-path spiritual body, containing top-tier spiritual roots. Luck will definitely increase. Han Ju, seeing his lifespan, was shocked. Not bad, kid, you've got years. Upon checking his cultivation method, which included various spells and treasures, Han Ju focused only on one, indeed, the 6 paths reincarnation technique. The higher the realm, the longer the lifespan. Thinking about this, Han Ju couldn't help but bang his head against the rock. If I cultivate to the Great Ascension stage, how long will my lifespan be? By then, I will definitely have time to cultivate Xiaoyao. Today, I am laying the foundation for the future Xiaoyao. At this time, Xing Hongwan had already emerged from the ancient secret realm and found Han Ju's residence. She bit her lip, recalling the things she had been forced and insulted by the Elder of Enlightenment. The black-eyed chicken hid in the distance and said with confusion, "Why is this woman back again?" Ko Chang'an, hearing this, also felt curious. "What does it have to do with you if she comes to see you?" The black-eyed chicken replied sternly, "Of course, I'm afraid she'll eat the master, but her condition seems off today." Ko Chang'an, hearing this, fell into a self-indulgent mood. "I know about this. Xiao Mei can sometimes act this way too." He started talking about his sad past and said angrily, "You wouldn't believe it, but before coming here, I was entangled with her for nearly 20 years. He began to reminisce, Xiao Mei's cultivation is ordinary, but her character is gentle and understanding. Many people pursued her like they were stepping over the doorstep. I was one of them, but I knew a toad couldn't eat swan meat, so I silently protected her." Ko Chang'an humbly only dared to secretly watch Xiao Mei and her boyfriend. Loving her means wanting her life to be happier. I originally planned to follow the principle of love whoever you love and often invite her boyfriend to dinner. He quietly spoke to the black-eyed chicken about the past, there were many people who even called me brother, and they communicated with and accompanied her. They encouraged me to keep going. I know their good intentions, but I still longed for her to accept me. Ko Chang'an, foolishly persistent, believed that Xiao Mei still came to him in times of trouble, proving that she had a little warmth for him, which made him unwilling to give up. What was even more surprising was Ko Chang'an's persistence, just taking her for an abortion 7 or 8 times already. I paid for all the expenses. She quickly found a new love, but I had already gotten used to it. By this point, Ko Chang'an still hadn't awakened and stubbornly believed, because she likes to keep the best things for last, I will definitely laugh in the end. He dejectedly realized, after sacrificing all these years, I only did it to make her understand one thing. Someone like me, a worthless dog, she will never love. She will only find someone else to be with. The black-eyed chicken was speechless, not knowing where to start with the insults. Ko Chang'an asked in confusion, "Chicken brother, you said that master has women finding him without him leaving the house, why hasn't anyone come for me?" The black-eyed chicken casually replied, "I think it's a matter of perception." It laughed without hesitation, "Maybe it's because you're too pretty." After hearing this, his fragile heart shattered, and tears began to flow. Behind the mountain, Xing Hongwan sadly confided in Han Ju. "Husband, this is how it is." She couldn't help but cry, "The Elder of Enlightenment is really too much." Han Ju agreed with Xing Hongwan, "As long as you're fine, he will eventually face retribution." However, some of the things he said were true. The overall strength of the martial general sect was far behind Yuking sect. Thinking of her, he advised, "The potential of Yuking sect is limited. Staying there too long will only slow your growth, but the martial general sect can help you see a broader world. If you agree to go, you might even encounter immortal opportunities." Xing Hongchuan was somewhat angry, but her heart was also mixed with thoughts of a young girl. "If I've already chosen my husband, then I should stay by his side for the rest of my life." Hanju comforted her and advised, "But you're not my subordinate, you should think more about yourself." Xing Hongchuan angrily pulled Hanju's face closer. As he was surprised, she domineeringly stared at him and seductively declared, "But I like it." Xing Hongchuan didn't want to leave Hanju and confidently confirmed, "My husband will definitely become an immortal, and I'm still waiting for the rooster and dog to ascend to heaven." Her voice was sweet, whispering and calling him husband. Hanju started to make excuses, not wanting to respond, "Don't do this, I need to upgrade your heavenly body." But Xing Hongchuan ignored him and continued. A few days later, the black-eyed chicken was worried and kept thinking, "Master won't be in trouble, right? He's been in seclusion for so long without coming out." Duan Chang'an, understanding the situation best, suggested, "How about we buy some seafood for master?" Meanwhile, on Mo Fuho and Zhou Fan's side, the two were roasting meat by the campfire. Zhou Fan promised, "Brother Han, next time I'll definitely avenge you." He was full of arrogance, fearless, and spoke boldly, "In the future, I plan to conquer the world. I want to be the best in the world." Mo Fuho's mind flashed back to the day Zhou Fan was rejected by his fiancée because he had no fame or power. He recalled her decisive departure, and he could only try to awaken Zhou Fan. "I know you're unwilling, but I feel like she only treated you as a backup." Unfortunately, Zhou Fan refused to awaken and remained stubborn. "Now I've reached the nascent soul stage. Even killed a transformation god. Who can compare to me? I want to prove to her that only I deserve her." Mo Fuho didn't respond but silently thought of someone and lightly replied, "The younger generation." "I thought of someone." Zhou Fan, while gnawing on meat, immediately understood, "You mean Han Ju, right?" He hurriedly defended himself. "Cultivation is about continuously experiencing and seeking opportunities. Look at me, my cultivation skyrocketed. Suddenly, while my enemies are still struggling to advance but stagnated. I'm the most obvious example." Mo Fuho could only remain silent. He was a realist and tried to warn Zhou Fan, "Brother Han has very high talent. To defeat him now, you'd need to at least reach the transformation god stage." After hearing this, Zhou Fan understood, "The heavens don't answer, but you've already reminded me."